You've waited a lifetime to look better and feel better, and now here's your chance. Fitness Friday on WNDB. Call 239-0033 and have your questions answered on health, fitness, and a better life. Fitness Friday is brought to you by Bodez by Tasso & Company, 1140 West Granada Boulevard in Ormond Beach. And now, here's your host, Tasso Kyriakis.
All right, welcome to Fitness Friday. You know, Dave, believe it or not, the girl that transcribes the tapes, not the tapes, we're not on tape anymore, but the recordings of this show, she said, I have to talk louder on the mic.
What?
Yeah.
Not you.
And yeah, me. So
she transcribes them word for word?
No, you know what I mean. She puts them on the Facebook and all that kind of stuff and pulls stuff out to do a synopsis of the show and everything. Oh. So anyway, before Dr. Fon gets on, because we have a visit from Dr. Fon on the radio today, which I'm excited about, I want to just say, you know, we couldn't make arrangements to get Bruce McNorton on the air with us today. We'll probably try and see if we can get him in the next week or so to get a commitment, but we're probably going to miss this camp he does for the kids here in Daytona. Bruce McNorton is a scout. He's a hometown boy from Daytona. Mm-hmm. He's a scout for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Great guy. Does an awful lot of things within the community that no one ever hears about. And so I hope you guys can look for Bruce McNorton's camp and support that. The other thing I want to tell you is, before we get started, is that St. Demetrius Church, Big B Coffee, and Buffington's Bar and Grill are combining to put a great event together for Father's Day at the Greek Orthodox Church again. You know, we had an awesome event for Mother's Day. Yeah. So you've got to make sure you get
corned beef hash for Mother's Day.
Listen, we're going to cook out lamb. We're going to cook out lamb on the spit. We're marinating chicken, thin slicing it, and then barbecuing it. And then Buffington's, it hasn't told me yet, but they're bringing one of their really popular specials with meat, because you know guys are sort of meat and potatoes kind of deal.
We are.
So we're doing that kind of theme for this event. We're going to honor three fathers. The one I'll tell you about is former Mayor Larry Kelly.
Just had a birthday the other day.
Is going to be honored by us for all the stuff he's done in the community, and we don't telling you the two other guys because we know they won't show up if they know they're being honored. So we told their family, and they're going to bring them. So come see who they are.
Surprise party.
Yeah. So before we get on to my research stuff, let's go to Dr. Fon. Dr. Fon, thank you for calling. I know you had an opening in your schedule today, so that's awesome.
Oh, good. Yeah, it had been a while that we haven't speak about acupuncture for our community.
Well, Dr. Fon, what people I didn't get to do because I jumped right in the show is we have two great co-sponsors for the show. Number one is Acupuncture and Beauty. The other one is Love Whole Foods with Mitch, who's actually joins me in studio most of the time. And they have two locations with Love Whole Foods. And then you're one of our sponsors. You come on at least once a month with a testimony case where we go in depth to the person's history and what you've been able to do with them. But today we want to talk about a topic of the trauma injury. And you're going to define trauma in one way, and I'm going to define trauma in another way, because I'm sending someone to you today who is a perfect description of trauma. In your case, you're thinking of trauma as someone who injures an ankle, that type of thing. Talk about how you look at trauma and acupuncture's role in it.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that acupuncture is really a quick repair for like small joints or big joint. Like, you know, if your hip is imbalanced, or your shoulders, or your knee and your ankles, and those acute injuries that a lot of people don't really, I think they underutilize acupuncture in those acute trauma, and the result is phenomenal. Within a few sessions, it cleared up nicely.
And it is, when you mention ankles, we know for a fact with the athletes we've worked with from several of the high schools as well as some of the college kids we've worked with, is that we've been able to keep athletes on the field competitively. And you know, some of my wrestlers with knee injuries that were, you know, twist and that, very quick rehab or recovery from that, where they could actually compete at a high level. And so I don't know the science behind it, and I don't think, like we said the first time you and I met, you said acupuncture is like quantum physics. But I want to look at trauma from another. way.
Cool. Mm-hmm. You know, it people just have to realize that when you sprain or you twist your joint, certain ankle, it's the ligament and the tendons that support the joint is a little bit off. So acupuncture can, there is a special point for tendons and ligament pressure point in which it can regulate and help adjust the joint.
And when we talk about trauma, in my case, I'm sending you a guy today that his trauma is from an overuse type injury. And I see triathletes. I see people who walk every day. You know, they do the same repetitive action in their job, and that's a traumatic injury as well that acupuncture can help, because what we have to do is we have to break the cycle of inflammation that's going on in the cell or the spasm that they've caused. We have to do that type of thing, and that's what acupuncture is great at interrupting. And, you know, this isn't acupuncture, but let me tell you a story. Tasso Spanos was traveling home one time and stopped in Virginia, and they were having the Virginia Slims tennis tournament. So they happened to meet a girl named Gabriella Santorini. Was that her last name? Santini. So she was a really good tennis player. And so they struck up a conversation, and really, you know, he worked on her shoulder a little bit while they're waiting for dinner or something like that. And so she gave him tickets to come the next day to see her in this Virginia Slims tournament. And so he went, and during that tournament, she actually twisted her ankle. And during the injury break, he came to the edge of the court and said he could help her. And you know, the physical therapist looked at him like he was weird or something, but he went down, and exactly what you're talking about. The alignment of the joint was affected, and the balance between the ligaments in that. And what he did was trigger point myotherapy, which is the same similar kind of science, but deals with spasms, is the same thing that acupuncture can have a very effective role in combating these injuries. So when people have those little nagging, if they have their tennis elbow, for instance, if they're a person that hammers a lot, if there's people that sit at a desk all day long and they get that crick in their neck, these are things that are overuse injuries that are really small volume trauma, but are reoccurring over time after time that occur, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you do it the earlier the better, because the reason why I want us to focus on acute trauma or long-term injury is just a lot of people, you know, they don't know where to get help, and they don't know what therapy is the best for them. And even though, you know, people are afraid of acupuncture, but I think who have an open mind and who's willing to get fast result, I think they might want to explore acupuncture to help them, you know, like you say, reduce the inflammations and also repair and adjust the joints as quickly as possible, so the alignment would be fit in times.
Right. Now let me call our other co-sponsor in, and Mitch, tell us about now. Dr. Fahn will actually start to fight the inflammation and the trauma to the joint with what he does with acupuncture. And he is a herbologist, so you guys are probably going to talk about a lot of things that are really similar, because, you know, Dr. Fahn is one of those big supporters of turmeric, as we've been doing from the standpoint of Love Whole Foods and the feature we've had on turmeric. But
certainly, and another great one is ginger. The doctors of Oriental medicine wrote the textbook on the therapeutic benefits of ginger and other anti-inflammatories. There are also a lot of flowers that are extracts that are also particularly good. Any of the listeners that know of an outstanding Bach flower remedy called Rescue Remedy, again, is in harmony with what Dr. Fahn does with the acupuncture and what you do with restorative lightweight training in the gym, so that you don't do that repetitive stress.
So, Dr. Fahn, we have a great team now that's pulled together from the standpoint of helping people. And what we've neglected to do is tell people where they can find you and what phone number. So 615-1203, 615-1203. You're located at 725 West Granada, and that's right next to Lohman's Funeral Home. And they can call at any time and make an appointment and get in to see you. And again, we've talking about traumatic injuries. Like, you know, you're playing basketball and you turn your ankle. You know, how many people are sidelined by those kind of injuries? They twist their knee going up the stairs, or getting out, a common injury for the senior population, getting out of a car and hyperextending their knee and causing that trauma to the knee. The neck injuries that are associated with sitting at a desk all day working on a computer because our posture is poor and the head. And, one of the other things I think, and one of our common friends that we have, Dr. Fahn, as you and I talked about, is he has so much stress in his life. That stress is now manifested in itself that he's got a catharsis starting to occur. He almost has a Dallinger's hump like you'd expect to see from an older woman that didn't take good care of herself. He's actually got one of those developing, and it's a manifestation of his stretch. And I said, you've got to go to Dr. Fahn to get the stress treatment to release those muscles of the neck and bring that alignment back in. Because, when these people get these forward head syndromes and they get this catharsis of bowing over, like, they become a reverse C because they have poor posture. And you see this whenever you walk through the mall. They actually increase their risk of heart disease because as they bow over, they shorten they lessen the lung capacity. So now they've got a double-edged sword fighting against them. They're hurting their lung capacity, so they put a higher risk of having a heart type of a problem. Number one. Number two is they increase the risk of neck problems because now as their head moves forward from being properly aligned, where the ears, the middle of the shoulders, the hips, and the ankles line up, and they've got the ears are now 2 inches ahead or 1 inch ahead. When you go like an inch and a half in front of your shoulders out of that alignment, your head goes from weighing 19 pounds to weighing 32 pounds. So now you're almost putting twice the work on your neck. And if it goes 2.5 inches forward, you got 42 pounds of work being done by that. What happens is now you start having that upper back ache right at the base of the neck, because there's so much strain there, right? And you can relieve this with your stress treatments and the things you do.
Oh, absolutely. Like you say, people who had, chronic stress can affect on the neurological aspect, and also it could affect the hormone balance and also affect the muscle spasm. So it is the early intervention, and a lot of people need to really serious about the natural treatments. And I would like to help people who have, early depression, stress, and it's really helpful. But people just underutilize or not being aware of it, or skeptical or afraid of it. I think that's the key factor for,
But Dr. Fahn, I think we need to tell our listeners the fundamental issue is not to treat just the symptom, but get to underneath it and get a comprehensive mind, body, spirit approach, which the three of us represent. Nutritional foundation, in one certain understanding of acupuncture is that it realigns the energy structure of the body, and then of course what Bodez has been giving to the community for the years of his involvement with physical activity, it's not using just a drug to mask the symptoms, but to get into realignment and get those fundamental aspects working in harmony, unity. That I think is the critical element.
I absolutely agree with you, Mitchell. I think people need to really take care of the mind and bodies. Physicals as well as nutrition. They need to eat right and utilize the right supplements. And you provide an excellent source for our community. And I encourage, our community comes and, take the benefits of what you offer, and Tassos and myself, to stay healthy and to be, to play a proactive in their life,
So, Dr. Fahn, I appreciate you joining us today. We have a great Father's Day event coming. I want you and Jen and the kids to come to the St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church on June the 16th. We're having some great food there. We've teamed with Big B Coffee and Buffington's Bar and Grill and the St. Demetrius community, because the boys that cook the lambs at the Greek festival are going to cook lambs out on the spits. We're going to make our marinated chicken recipe, and we're going to have a lot of other things there. And we're going to honor three great people from the community, one being former Mayor Larry Kelly, who's been a great example as a father. And we have two people from the Greek community we're going to honor, who we're not telling you their names over the air because we know if they hear about this, they won't show up. So I'm hoping that all the fathers, all the mothers, actually all the mothers, sons, and daughters out there should make plans. Call 252-6012, 252-6012, and make your arrangement. It's $12 in advance. It's $15 at the door. You can reserve a whole table if you want. I know John Penny's going to bring a nice group, and we appreciate that. It's going to support our youth ministry program, and it's going to support Food Brings Hope. All things that stand up for youth and help youth. So I think it's a great cause, and so I want you to do that. But I've got one of our sponsors from that event on the phone with us. So one more time before we leave, Dr. Fon, Beauty and Acupuncture on 725 West Granada. Phone number is 615-1203. Give him a call. Go by, get a consultation from him, and Dr. Fon, I'll be calling you later with one of my members who needs to come see you before he goes to the Bahamas so he can enjoy the Bahamas, but he's got an overuse injury, which is right in that characteristic of trauma injuries we talked about today.
Thank you, Tasso and Mitchell. You both had a great weekend, and I'm trying to be there.
All right, great.
We'll see you there.
All right, and I want to welcome Randy Frank. Randy, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Tazo. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, I had this occasion. Dr. Hall, who is my not acupuncture, my chiropractor, comes to see me one day for a workout, and he goes, "Oh," he says, "this coffee is unbelievable." Now, Dr. Fon's usual hangout was at one of the convenience stores where you got the bottomless cup, right? Because he's a coffeeholic, right? So I'm going, "Doc, you know, all you know about this, you're drinking all that coffee. You know, you how can you do that?" He says, I just love coffee. So he says, "This is the best cup of coffee I've ever had." He says, "And you know, it's a hometown, one of our own boys opened up this place right down the street." So I came down there, and I actually got a smoothie from you guys. It was really good, made with fruit. And then I said to you that day in this rush that you had going on, I said, "Hey, you know, I have a Father's Day event that you know, Buffington's Bar and Grill in Ormond Beach is helping us with, and I got some friends in the church are helping us with. And then, would you guys be interested in doing coffee hour for that?" And you said, "Yeah." And then I came back and verified, because, you know, sometimes you don't know what you're saying when you're just opening a business and stuff. So tell us, first of all, I want to thank you for getting involved with St. Demetrius, with Bodez by Tasso and Company, with Buffington's, to help us put on a great Father's Day event in about a week and a half. But the other thing is, tell us a little bit about your journey to Big B Coffee that you're open now right in Ormond Beach. Tell people where you're at.
Well, we're on Granado, Tazo, right across from Lowe's in the Seminole Plaza next to Mamma Mia's GameStop and Walk and Roll. And we're about 2 weeks old. We just opened up 2 Tuesdays ago, and we had the pleasure of serving what we feel is the best coffee around to everybody in Ormond Beach and anywhere else that wanted to come by. And like yourself, we have, tried the smoothies. They're great. Everything is good. We have stuff for the kids as well. And most importantly, I want to thank you, Tazo, for letting us have the privilege of hanging out with you on Father's Day. And Food Brings Hope. That's a great cause. And being a father myself, I want to celebrate Father's Day with all the fathers out there and provide you with some wonderful coffee.
Well, what we will do is, and I told you to get there about 11:30 because we'll let out of church and come down there. And the actual event will start at 12, but we'll be ready to serve at 11:45 for the coffee hour. And a lot of our parishioners at the church are going to get the great coffee from Big B, and we're going to have some pastries there and stuff. We don't know exactly how we're going to provide those at this point. We're still working on that part of it. But you also provide that at your shop. But I want to, I want to thank you, because the reason I like to pick certain businesses, Mitch is here with me from Love Whole Foods, Dr. Fon. I can go to guys like you guys and I can say, "Listen, I have this community event, and we want to have a great event, and we want to be involved in the community." And I think that even though the mission statement of your business may not be the same as mine, and Mitch's may not be the same as mine, the theme of it is the same. Mine is to dramatically and positively improve the quality of life of our community. And I think all of us, from the standpoint, I've seen the enthusiasm that you have with your staff and that over at Big B Coffee, and I see what you're enjoying this journey that you're on right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
So now you have a little bit of history here, so people don't think you're some guy that came from Michigan, because that's where Big B Coffee's from, is Lansing, Michigan. You didn't come from Michigan down here. You actually have been in the area for a while working, right? Tell people where they may have seen you before.
Well, I tell you what, I've been in Florida for going on 14 years, and I probably spent 9 of those years working for Peach Valley and the Stonewood Group, specifically Peach Valley down by the beach in Ormond Beach, and served some fantastic food, worked with a lot of great people, and met some nice folks in the community. And I have my own little family. I got a 9-year-old little girl, and, focuses on, the family and, of course, the community and Big B Coffee.
Well, again, I want to thank you for coming in. Let's tell people where you're located again, so if they want to come by and try your smoothies, your coffees, and the things that you do there, so they can come out and see you and help your business be successful in the area. And I appreciate, again, that you're going to be involved June 16th with the St. Demetrius community and the Buffington's Bar and Grill boys that are going to be helping us cook the food over at the St. Demetrius Church. Remember, if you want to come to that event, it's going to be it's going to start at 12. It's going to go to 1:30. The menu is going to be marinated chicken, a surprise entree from the boys at Buffington's that will have something to do with beef or something of that nature, and then we'll have the lamb. I think the highlight is going to be the lamb on the spit that you can get there and see spinning around, and we'll take it off and we'll slice it up and go from there. So I think it's going to be an enjoyable day. It's going to be a nice day to come and not worry about getting in line. You can enjoy a nice cup of Bigsby coffee before you get started, and we appreciate you being involved with us.
I'm pleased that you came by and asked me to do it. I think it's a privilege, and I know the boys over at Buffington's do a good job. I can't wait to try that lamb, and I can't wait for everybody to try our coffee. And like I said, we're across from Lowe's on Granada in the great city of Ormond Beach, and I appreciate it, Tazo, and you have a wonderful day.
All right, God bless. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, so we got about 5. Do we need to take a break real quick, Dave, and then we'll come back? And I want to talk about a high-intensity, low-volume cardio training. That there's a brand-new study that was just released. It was done in Norway as well as collaboration with scientists in Canada and the U.S., and it it massively supports what we've been doing. And the theme of this is, we tend to find that people, when they look at exercise, think that more is better. And what we're trying to do is really get a handle for people to understand and research to say, how little do we need to cause adequate stimulation to change our body and health? That's what we really want to talk about when we do that. I want to remind you guys, we haven't talked much about Bodez because we have so many things to talk about, but Bodez Personalized Fitness is offering their Summer Hot Bodies program. 3 great memberships to choose from. $99 for 99 days student membership. Then we have the $199 Hot Bodies membership, which gives you totally supervised exercise and our body coach program, as well as our Body by Science burst training. And then the other one is our summer membership, and it's a great program. It's 18 workouts for $7.99. If you enroll before June 15th, you receive another 6 workouts absolutely free. It's a great opportunity. 672-6464.
Port Orange's Beat the Heat Summer Movies Under the Stars is back. And the popular free outdoor movie series kicks off June 14th with the hit movie The Odd Life of Timothy Green at the Port Orange City Center Amphitheater. The fun starts at 8 with movie concessions at the snack bar, pre-show games and activities, followed by the movie at dusk. So remember your blanket and head to the free annual Port Orange Summer Movies Under the Stars series starting Friday, June 14th with the family hit movie The Odd Life of Timothy Green. Hosted by the Port Orange Community Trust and the Port Orange Chamber of Commerce. Media partner Southern Stone Event Group. Also sponsored by Halifax Health, Bright House, PNC Bank, and Hendrick Honda. For more information, call 386-506-5935. That's 386-506-5935 or visit FamilyDays.com. This public service announcement is sponsored by this station.
The Hometown Business Alliance is empowering you for success with another phenomenal event.
Join us on Tuesday, June 11th at Daytona Lagoon as Coach Steve Lochte shares his secrets on raising champions through strong leadership, mentoring, and good parenting.
The same principles that enabled him to raise an Olympic gold medal winning athlete will also empower you to excel in your business and in life.
This event promises to be a blast. Come casual, bring a friend, and get ready for fun.
For more info, visit hbavolusia.com.
It's summer shape up and slim down time. Pull out those t-shirts, shorts, and bathing suits. It's fun time. What? You don't look or feel good wearing them? Bodez Personalized Fitness has 3 ways for you to get the summer shape up. It's our Summer Hot Bodies membership. $99 for 99 days student body shape up for the high school and college students. Number 2, Hot Body Supervised Exercise Program, complete with our Body by Science Burst Training Program to get out that fat and uplift your self-image. Third is our Body Summer one-on-one program, 18 one-on-one sessions, personalized and customized to fit you and your goals. Plus, it features our personal cardio coach program to burn fat and improve your endurance. Act by June 15th and get 6 more one-on-ones absolutely free. 3 great ways to shape up and slim down. Look great this summer at Body's Personalized Fitness. Call 672-6464. That's 672-6464 for a no-obligation consultation. This summer, Body's has 3 ways to get body-changing, attitude-uplifting, and life-enhancing results.
Call 239-0033 for Fitness Friday and your host, Tasso Kyriakis. Here's Tasso.
Talk about it here. So Mitch, you out of nowhere you sort of brought back nostalgia for me because this short burst training that we're talking about.
Yeah, the first time I heard about it was when I read this incredible book called The 4-Hour Body by this guy named Tim Ferriss. What I love about him is that Ferriss was just an ubermensch, just no PhDs, no physical trainer, not a nutritionist, not a TV doc, just somebody that had a challenge, researched it, took it upon himself to say, I want the best body ever, and then did it.
Yeah. If you look at that at the front as acknowledgments of all the people, it's like it's a who's of people that came from this area when it comes to exercise.
Yep.
You got Dr. Michael Eads, you got Arthur Jones, you got Jim Flanagan, you got Ed Farnham, you got Ellington Darden, you got Wayne Westcott. I went through that when I was looking at that because it also has one of the subtitles is the 15-minute orgasm. Did you see it? Right? It's one of the things he talks about better sex. But
right, you don't need to go and get a Viagra prescription and worry about that unpleasant side effect that every guy as soon as they hear it says, "Oh, heart attack, right? Yeah, really.
But I told you I tried to get him on the air, and his website says I'm enjoying my 15 minutes of fame. He said, if you want to pay me $50,000, I'll come on for 15 minutes. Otherwise, you can contact me about being a consultant for you in your own personal program, but it's 6 figures.
Yeah, but the heart of it is just what you and I have been trying to do in our partnership, and that is to empower people that if they go and get a T3, T4 thyroid test and the doctor says, well, it's normal, and in your heart, that 70 pounds of weight that's hanging on the midriff ain't normal, then what he did was say, well, I'm going to go and scrape the surface and find out what's really going on. And I find that remarkable. Again, it's self-empowerment is invaluable to a part of the recipe of reaching your goal. In his goal, it was to create a lean body mass without having, just like you say, that if you're going to go into the gym, make it work.
That's right.
And go to the fitness center and get somebody that doesn't have a PhD but knows how to get the job done.
Well, the thing about it is when I read this study online and, people comment on these studies and the most common comment was say, well, at least they're doing something because everybody on there talked about I exercise 6 to 7 days a week, 1 to 2 hours in the gym. And at least for these people, at least they're doing something. Well, make no mistake about it. These researchers were not looking to get people to start an exercise program. They were looking to see how much exercise do you really need to stimulate changes in a week. Now, a total aside, I didn't plan on getting into this, is I'm starting the Alive Across America program with Phil Kaplan. So if those of you out there that don't want to go to a fitness center, want a program at home, you talk about empowering. This is a 10-week program that empowers you, gives you very simple exercises to do at home, start your eating. Now, an exercise in this book by Tim Ferriss had in it what he called the best butt exercise ever. Well, this burst training that I do now is combined with an exercise, we call it the squat curl press. So all of you people that don't like the squat curl press, but you know it's helping you, that have done it at Bodez by Tasso and Company, here's the guy to blame for it because that article was short burst training. So we have at the end of a thing, the first week, a 9-minute program for your program. And you do this squat curl press where you work for 60 seconds and then you rest for 3 minutes. that is the essence of this study. But also it's about finding better tools to deliver what he talks about in that book, what this research shows, and what we've believed in, because what we're learning now with the capabilities of the science of fighting inflammation, of changing those markers. I had a guy come into me the other day, and he starts talking to me about diverticulitis. And how that's not affected by his lifestyle. And I said, what do you think diverticulitis is at its base? It is an inflammation of your intestinal area and of your colon.
And you're in malnutrition of all your nutrients.
That's right.
Right.
He drinks alcohol and he smokes and he's in a high-stress job, but he doesn't think that his lifestyle is affecting. And he's also borderline diabetic. Well, all those things run together.
I got to just tell you, my passion is stationary bike, and I never really saw the results. I was wasting my time until I read Ferris's book. And Ferris tackles type 2 diabetes. More important, he talks about how to boost testosterone without using Viagra. And we both share, and you're right. Most of the references that he makes are go right back here to Florida. And again, picking up with where our second guest was, this emphasis on our community is invaluable. On Saturday in Port Orange, we're sponsoring a whole event called La Vida Local. And what we're doing is profiling all of the farmers that are in our geographic area. Love Whole Foods has really attempted not only to bring organic fruits and vegetables, but certified organic fruits and vegetables from Florida. It's like going to the farmer's market every day, but you don't have to wait until Saturday. That's going to be running all day long at our Port Orange store, 1633 Taylor Road, right across the street from the Westgate Plaza, just west of 95.
And it does take a little looking to find it. Does take a little looking to do, because my first time going up there, Mitch, it was sort of hidden behind that building that's in front of it. What's in front of it there? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a House of Gold that
right
the city allowed him to build this bizarre building. It's called House of Gold. If you know where House of Gold is, we're right behind it in the shopping plaza.
So, and again, that's an example of building our community. So, and if you're on a bike, if you like a bike, you need to go read the McMaster study, because that's where this has all come from. This McMaster study, and what they did is, or you can just go I'll lend you the book Body by Science, because he sort of just overviews it. But what they did is essentially what this workout did. Traditional bikers would ride 90-minute rides 4 and 5 times a week to increase their fitness level. And they were using steady state training. Well, what the McMaster study did is it took people and put them into 20-minute cycles. And they said, we're going to ride you for 4 minutes. And out of every 4 minutes, you're going to burst as hard as you can go for 1 minute. And then you're going to actively rest the other 3 minutes. And you're going to do 3 to 4 of those cycles. So a 16-minute program, which is done twice a week, compared to 5 days a week of a 90-minute program. And what ended up occurring was that when they started the program, they timed how long it took for these guys to ride an 18-mile ride on their bike. And the group that did the burst training and the 2 to 3 burst twice a week improved 23% more than the people who were spending almost 8 hours a week training, and they were training under an hour. Same philosophy as the 4-hour body with Tim Ferriss. Same philosophy as our short burst training. Where we think we've not perfected but gotten a lot better is that our tool, the SciFit, enables us to get you into that parasympathetic response of the body that gets the catecholamine hormones coming into the body, gets you strengthening your mitochondria, strengthening your cell membrane, and using your fat stores. That's what it's about. So from that standpoint, we're on the same page with that aspect of it.
Yeah, I just I didn't know about that Body by Science. I'm gonna pick it up. What I like about the Ferris book is that it addresses sleep, on the job stress, that belly fat, sexual performance, interrelationships. He also does a whole section on where you bring your partner in and you work together, which is also another nice aspect. And again, it can be done either in a fitness center like Bodez, which certainly would give you the optimal performance, but more important, it can be done in the home. And you don't need videotapes, and you don't need you don't need a whole bunch of paraphernalia. You just pick up the book. We've got it at Love Whole Foods, both locations, the Williamson Boulevard in Ormond Beach, and then again the one next to Westgate Shopping Plaza.
The nice thing about that book, you don't read it. Like, you don't start page 1 and go to page. You find the topic that interests you the most, and you read that part of it. It's sort of like a really great reference, because what he did is he was just doing research and collecting data is what he did.
But he used himself as the guinea pig.
And you're going to be awed by some of the things he did to himself. Like you talk about,
the whole cholesterol myth. He went to like 3 different labs, and you know that he doesn't have any problem drawing blood out of himself.
Out of himself, right?
Right. He goes to 3 different labs and gets 3 totally different cholesterol profiles. Right. Unreal. And he just says, well, another good thing that you need to do, find the lab that you can trust.
Well, I want to encourage people. And if you're wanting to start an exercise program, once again, I want to put this out. Alive Across America is a program that will be $25 a week. You will go on Monday evenings to a seminar or a webinar, actually, through your computer with Phil Kaplan. You will have all the downloadable materials. And if you would like to do that, I will actually pay for your first week, your first $25, so you can hear about the program. It'll be Monday night at 7 o'clock. Call me at 672-6464. I will give you the way to get onto the thing so you can hear the seminar on Monday night, this Monday night at 7 o'clock. And for the next 8 weeks after, because we're actually, the first 2 weeks are preliminary weeks. This is the last preliminary. We actually start the program, and it is an 8-week program, $25 a week. You'll get all your exercise. It is a self-contained program. You can do everything at home with just having a medicine ball and a stability ball and a set of dumbbells. That's all you need. This is part of the research that I've been doing for 3.5 years to have a club without walls. I want to affect people's health through this fitness program, and the Alive Across America is the way I've chosen to do it, because it gets rid of all the other stuff that we see, to buy the tapes, to do the 90 minutes of exercise. People are doing these brutal programs for 90 minutes. The wear and tear they put on their body, Mitch, is unbelievable. And you know what? We're seeing the results.
Yeah, I mean, Ferriss's whole philosophy is get the pain, get the gain, and no pain.
Right.
Or at least a minimum.
But it doesn't mean that you don't work hard.
Right. No. You're sweating. When you're doing the burst training, as you well know, you probably sweat more than you would in a traditional workout program.
And the theme is, and he talks about it as minimal equivalence for stimulation in his book. The way it's said.
No, that's why he calls it the 4-hour body. I mean, you can get it done in a couple of hours of very targeted.
Now that 4 hours is over 10 weeks.
Right.
4 hours over 10 weeks.
Right.
Minimal effective dose is what it is.
Right.
And it says we're not discovering how much exercise do we really need to stimulate the changes we seek. Rather, how much exercise do we physically tolerate is how most people approach this. Mitch, let's switch gears and talk a little bit more about Love Whole Foods and some of the things we've been talking about from the standpoint of nutrition and that for people, because we've talked a lot about inflammation, maybe to nausea for some people, but it falls into so many categories. And you're doing this event down there. But, I asked you the other day, I said, Mitch, and I asked you to think about this, is a lot of my people now with this knowledge that we're gaining are beginning to eat organic. And you're a big advocate of this. You're a big advocate of live and raw.
We've been the largest consistent resource for organic fruits and vegetables for 20 years.
So talk about the value. The thing I hear is they say, well, I went to Love's or I went to wherever they went, and the organic stuff was more expensive. And my first comment to them is, number one, you're taking care of your health like you've never taken care of it before when you do that. Number two is I've found that as I've done more of your stuff and more of the Jordan Rubin stuff from Beyond Organic, what I find is I'm more satiated when I eat that food. And I
invite any listener to come in. I've got a Harvard medical study and the American College of Nutrition that did an evaluation of the most common organic fruits and vegetables. They're more nutrient dense. You get more bang for your buck.
Well, let's take grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef has higher levels of creatine. Now, you don't need to take an athlete.
It's one of the few natural sources of conjugated linoleic acid. I watched this story.
B complexes are higher?
Yep.
Right? I'm sorry. I interrupted.
Yeah, well, and bioavailable iron, in our age group, pernicious anemia is so prevalent, And a lot of it has to do with the fact that people aren't eating red meat any longer.
Right.
Again, because of a media that has no clue about cholesterol or what the benefits of a meat-based, a clean meat-based diet, especially red meat. But vitamin K2 and conjugated linoleic acid are two invaluable cancer-fighting weapons. And I might add, the K2 is critical in preventing osteoarthritis, as you know. And so what we're doing with partnering with Jordan and with those people that are committed to getting the information out to the community, we give it to them. Come on in. The information's there. We give it out free.
And Mitch, I want to thank you for one thing, because you've been very tolerant of me in my nutritional journey. And I told you that last week, I told you that next, I want to let people know next week I'm going to have Dr. Jamie McManus on, who is the research director for Shackley Corporation, who the company I've worked with. And you know, I'm starting to get more garden of life stuff and that type of thing. But I want to talk about that interview I'm going to have with her, because I'm going to talk about three things with her that are they've done some great research that has been by independent companies, not on their product, but on the philosophy of three things. Number one is supplementation. And the supplementation of the quality of life that people who supplement through their lives experience. That's going to be the first theme we're going to talk about next week. The second theme is going to be about physical recovery during exercise. The nutrient need, and what they have found. You know, people go afterwards and they get a high protein drink, okay, after their thing. When in reality, after a workout, the reality of that high protein drink is, if it's not the correct ratio of carbohydrates to protein, it does them no good. It's a very slow recovery process. In fact, if you were to drink nothing but a carbohydrate-rich drink afterwards, you'd probably do better.
And even the timing's critical.
Right.
You know about food combining. One of the critical things that we've done, in addition to introducing high-density nutrient-dense organic foods, is also an understanding of what's the best way to combine the meat-based protein with, let's say, a vegetable protein,
right,
or a vegetable oil like coconut oil versus Barlean's flax oil, or now the chia, organic chia. But that food combining is also, it's science. It's not hocus pocus. It's foundation science. And all I can say is Love Whole Foods has been in business for 24 years. We have been thriving for one reason. We've been science-driven and performance-based. If the science is like
doesn't work,
if the science is great, but if the listener doesn't get the performance, then it's basically meaningless.
Right.
But that being said, I don't have a problem as long as your guest speaker is looking at independent science that hasn't been bought and paid for, which in many cases is not the case.
It's not the case. Well, and here's the keys I see. And here's the thing that I love about her research base. She is peer reviewed. The articles we're going to talk about are from Journal of American College of Sports Medicine, from the New England Journal of Medicine, those types of articles. We're not talking about, and here's what kills me. We read, the kids of today open Muscle Development magazine because they're impressed by the guy that's on the cover or the girl that's on the cover.
The marketing, right? The sex market.
And Joe Weider, who just passed away, he said on Larry King Live, they asked him, how can you be from the 1950s, be in the top 25 periodical magazines and have 5 magazines in that top 25 for all these years? He said, it's simple. He said, we put a big guy with muscles on the cover with a hot chick next to him, and the message is, big muscles get hot chicks, and we sell magazines that way.
Well, that's not who our listeners are. Krispy Kreme sells a ton of stuff that we would never sell, but it's marketing. The people that are listening to this show and visit Love Whole Foods at both our locations or at Bodez are doing it because they get the performance. They get
science and performance. That's a great way.
They get the science and the performance, where the Krispy Kreme, it is a one-way ticket to the next round of diet sodas or caffeine stimulant. because that's what it produces. And I have to be careful. I mean, people, and I'm not a health.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jim Anderson.
I'm not a food Nazi. You can make that choice, but again, the just look at the science. I mean, when the mayor of New York City knows more about high fructose corn syrup and refined carbohydrates than the Surgeon General of the United States, people start looking for the right information, and that's what we do.
Well, I like the statement of science and performance-based. And again, going back to my interview next week with Jamie, it is going to talk about, the third topic is going to be about the science of weight loss from the standpoint of sustaining protein and understanding the food sources, not the food sources, but the energy-sparing food sources that we have, and how people make their choices of their foods and stuff. So, we talked last week about Garden of Life and their protein supplement that they had and their meal replacement. And I think you're going to find a lot of the science is exactly the same. And again, it goes back to when you go in those magazines that have all those pictures and stuff like that, slick magazines, you always see university tested, double blind. They use all these things, but the reality is if it's not peer reviewed, it's not in a peer reviewed journal, you cannot be quoting that because it hasn't been observed deeply enough. Even some of the studies that they use for the FDA and RDA are not peer reviewed. They go to a council that's dictated to by the Monsantos, the what's that? Consi something, the big
ConAgra,
right.
ADM, all of the entities that we identify as agribusiness.
And I want to tell you, here's the stark reality in my awakening to this, the politics of food, is that I saw an article on the news, not on news, on the web. It was about Dream Pasta, okay? So I said, and the study was a group of researchers had done a study, peer-reviewed, that talked about Dream Pasta. And it said that the Dream Pasta formula was no different in sugar response than regular pasta was, which it was not saying that the response was good. It's just saying it was the same result. There's no difference. You didn't get a lower glycemic index or anything like that. That was posted on the American Diabetes Association, their official website, letting people know, well, listen, the two are no different from each other. It was pulled one day later and taken off. And they said that the committee that reviews the research would not allow it to stand on the website for American Diabetes. Who were the people that sat on that board? Monsanto, Kraft, the ConAg, those people were controlling that board. So even when we see these articles come out, you got to be very judicious in reading the articles and where you research them from and who's giving you the information that you're getting.
Right, in the fall, we're going to be hosting an event where we're going to invite the community to come in, and we're going to do a detailed analysis of just what you discussed. What is the politics of the food? How are the studies done? Who funds them? And then more important, how is it that legislators in Washington are deriving campaign funding from those people that you then are expecting that they're protecting the integrity of the food supply?
Right.
I mean, that's why last weekend there was a protest in Orlando with over 500 people demanding that our Congress reevaluate their position on protecting Monsanto. And they did it locally. I mean, we had a local event here at Tulsa.
You told me about that when I told you I saw a sign that said no GMO Monsanto going up the Ormond Bridge the other day. I saw that.
I don't know of any other issue that is more that it is the most significant single political issue facing the American public today. And again, I don't want to beat you don't want to fall into the the talk radio fear bashing. Come to Love Whole Foods. We've got the two locations, the one right next to the Regal Cineplex on Williamson Boulevard in Ormond, and then we're at the new location at 1633 on Taylor Road. We give that information away. You're welcome to go and review it for yourself. And then we love with our Facebook, we interact with people that want to know, well, how did this happen? Or how do I know that your study that you're telling me isn't it has its own agenda?
Right.
And we open that free discussion of ideas is what America is based on. That's what freedom is really about.
Before we get too far off topics, I do want to do two things. Number one, I want to remind people, if you don't have any plans for Father's Day, June the 16th, from 12 o'clock to 1:30, I'm proud to be teamed up with my friends at St. Demetrius Community, who are going to help do the cooking in the kitchen, put a great menu together. Greek style lamb on the spit. We're going to do a chicken recipe that we're going to barbecue, and our grill, not barbecue, that would be incorrect, grill. And then the boys at Buffington's and our friend Randy that we just talked to from Big B Coffee are going to help us put on a great event. It's $12 advance ticket sales, $15 at the door. You can call 252-6012 and reserve a space to bring your dad. We're going to have a very short ceremony. It's nothing fancy. It's not one of those testimonials that are 8 hours long. It's just we have three men we'd like to honor. The lead guy that we're putting up at the front is former Mayor Larry Kelly, who I think has been a great example of a father and a guy who contributes to the community. Because it's a tough thing to balance, doing community service and also having a family and keeping that family together. But he's got some pretty good kids. I think all of those guys are going to be there, and I hope you will be there. 252-6012. Reserve your spot. It's going to be great food, and we're really looking forward to having a great time at that event. The other thing I want to remind people is that we have 3 great summer specials going on. $99 for 99 days, student special to get started in the fitness program. It is a supervised program. It's not just letting the kids go loose in the club. Second one is our Hot Body Summer membership, and that membership is available to you for $199. There's a way to save $100 on it we call Summer Free if you're interested, but it's totally supervised, gives you our Body by Science program of burst training. And the final one is what I think is the deal of the year, and that's a 18 workout one-on-one program, 18 customized workouts for $799. This saves about $500, and if you act by June 15th, you get another 6 workouts. So it's 24 workouts for $799. It puts you on a track that's totally customized for you to be successful in the program. So give us a call at 672-6464, and then Love's Whole Foods.
Be sure to join us at this La Vida local celebration. It is only at the Port Orange store, 1633 Taylor Road, right behind the House of Gold, and it's going to be all-day event starting at about 9:30. There's going to be free food, samples, and most of all, we're going to have the same local band from New Smyrna Beach that was used at our grand opening. Our first-year anniversary. Anybody that came to our first-year anniversary and heard that group, they are absolutely the best. So come on down. It is really going to be a great day, all day Saturday.
All right. Well, I think we've hit an awful lot of topics today, Dave. I think we've done our community service. We've talked about a little bit of research. I want to remind people next week it is going to be the show is going to be dedicated to the research done by Dr. Jamie McManus. She is a PhD in physician. She is very much like our friend Dr. Miriam Nelson, who is at Tufts University, who has both those degrees and is very compelled to work in the field of strength training for women. She has the Strong Women website. Strong Women Stay Young, Strong Women Stay Strong, Strong Women Stay Healthy, Strong Women Stay Slim. It's a brand that she's brought forward, and her website is AskStrongWomen.com. So she's in that same mold. She is a pure researcher. She is very interactive. And I'm, again, I want to go from the standpoint of the data behind how the body, all of us are the same and all of us are different. We all have the same amount of muscles in our bodies. We all have the same organs in our bodies. Where we have our differences is how we respond and how we react and what we do and those types of things. And this is going to deal with the sameness of the body, the chemistry, the science, and the research they've done, because they've done really good research. And we want to bring that forward next week on the radio show, and people will be available to call in. She's going to get up pretty early because she's in California. So she said, I'm not an early morning person, Todd. So I said, I can talk today and we can pre-record. She said, no, I'm going to get up and do this. So we'll have a good time with it. So next week we look forward to having that show. And I want to remind you guys again, Love Whole Foods as an event has 2 locations. Dr. Fon for treatment of trauma or overuse type injuries and stress. Number 3, the summer special. And the one I want to focus on the most is Honor Dad. Join us at St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church, Buffington's Bar and Grill, and Big B Coffee with a great event where we're going to have lamb on the spit, we're going to have chicken, we're going to have a secret special from the Buffington's boys that we'll talk about next week hopefully, and we'll have a great time, and we're going to honor 3 wonderful men who've been exemplary leaders as family members. 672-6464 is Bodez. Thank you for listening to Fitness Friday Day.
Thanks, everybody.
We look forward to it, and we look forward to serving you. And remember, I like Mitch's thing there, science and productive results.
WNDB Daytona Beach. WNDB Daytona Beach, first in local news. Fox News updates at the top of every hour. Online at newsdaytonabeach.com.